Now, the video features music and is edited with football tackles. Boan would later hire Goldsmith to the sheriff's office, where his actions in October of 2020 would lead to criminal charges and a $1.5 million lawsuit settlement. Our chief investigative reporter, Chris Joseph, has been following this story for a year and a half. So, Chris, tell us more about where these records came from.
Yeah, Judy, all these records came from a lawsuit, that $1.5 million lawsuit that you were just referencing. It settled in April. The lawyers who filed that lawsuit dug into Kershaw County and Camden records, finding Sheriff Boan made that greatest hits video in June 2018, or excuse me, of an event that happened in June 2018. Now, Camden police leadership had reviewed the incident with Goldsmith and Boan and had actually recommended de-escalation training for Goldsmith in the days after he downloaded that body camera footage. Now, a warning about this story: the video is violent. To understand the Johnathan Goldsmith saga, you need to start at this moment. It's October 2020, and Goldsmith responded to a suspicious vehicle call. He found Tony Sims. What happened that night leads to Goldsmith's arrest and the $1.5 million lawsuit.
All right, I'm just detained. You're not under arrest or anything, all right?
No, don't do that.
You're not under arrest, man.
No, please, sir, don't do that.
You just been detained.
No,
Cool.
I ain't do nothing wrong, sir.
Come on, man, put that
What
down.
I do wrong?
Put it down.
No,
Put it
what
down.
I do
Last
wrong?
chance,
No,
put it down.
What I do wrong?
I'm going to tell you one more time.
What I do wrong?
Stop.
No,
Stop.
I'm saying. Oh.
Hand. Give me your hand.
No,
Give me your hand.
no. Mike, for real, please, sir.
Slide in there.
Please, sir.
Now.
I didn't do anything. Please, sir.
The South Carolina Law Enforcement Division began its investigation less than 2 weeks later. Ultimately hires Brett Perry and Robert Butcher as his attorneys. They proceed to dig through Kershaw County Sheriff's Office and Camden Police files.
It just kept getting bigger and more of a nightmare as we continued to dig.
They found multiple instances where Sheriff Lee Boan was warned about Goldsmith's behavior prior to the incident. We've covered some of that evidence in the last year and a half. The attorneys say sources told them Boan created a video called Goldsmith's Greatest Hits.
You know, we kept hearing rumors, if you will, about this video. And it was very much like a leprechaun or a unicorn.
Court records show that the legal team for the sheriff's office told the attorneys, quote, "This video has been located on Sheriff Lee Boan's personal iPad. Here is the video."
The only purpose that I could come up with for retaining, for first of all obtaining, and second of all retaining a video such as the one that we're discussing would be if you either found it humorous and or in some way condoned that behavior.
Did you find anything to the effect that said this was a joke in the department?
No, but it's an attitude. I mean, what he equated use of force with is, Chris Berman on SportsCenter, showing the top 10 plays.
We repeatedly asked Sheriff Lee Boan for a comment on this story. He did not respond. Were you surprised that you got it? It seemed to me,
Yes.
as I was reading it, it could have been a very simple delete.
Yeah.
And
Or very simple, we just don't have it.
right.
Let me tell you, I give all the credit in the world to someone. Tremendous loss to the citizens of Kershaw County, tremendous loss to the Kershaw County Sheriff's Office. The original chief deputy under Lee Boan at Kershaw County Sheriff's Office was a fine law enforcement officer by the name of Steve Norfolk. Steve Norfolk is the one that insisted that that be turned over to us as a part of discovery. He was the point person that defense counsel was utilizing at the sheriff's office to obtain the things that we were requesting.
Norfolk left the agency last November and declined an interview. As for how the video was created, court records show on July 16, 2018, then Camden Police Captain Lee Boan downloaded the body cam footage. Court records show Boan concedes making the video while playing on his old iPhone that he no longer has possession of.
Come on, man. You peanut, right?
This is the original body cam footage.
What I did?
Nah, somebody said they almost hit you.
Oh, hell no, bro.
Ain't your name Peanut?
Nah, bro.
Yeah.
I'm leave, bro.
No, hold on.
I got a
I
woman.
just- No. I need to talk to you real quick. How about the bike for me?
Hey, I'm my bike. I'm saying, goes, man. I gotta go
just
check my
get-
daughter, bro.
Man, just get off the bike.
For what, bro?
Get him. Get him.
What I do, man? Why you hit me for nothing?
The man being tackled in the video is Roosevelt Lee. It happened on June 18th, 2018. Kershaw County court records show Lee has a criminal record dating back more than 2 decades. Goldsmith wrote in his report he responded to 3 people walking on the road. He arrested Lee for possession of crack cocaine and resisting arrest. Neither of those charges were prosecuted. I met with Lee, and he said he hadn't seen the Greatest Hits video.
Yeah, that's very rude there.
While Lee hadn't seen the video, court records show Kershaw County law enforcement officers were familiar with it. Kershaw County Lieutenant Jarrett Greenway said in a deposition, "I hate to say, it's common knowledge." Other depositions show 2 other deputies said they'd heard of it as well. The lawyers who found that video argue that the sheriff made it as a joke.
It was.
Do you interpret that as a joke?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I do. And right now I feel bad about because they disrespecting me. Now, if I'd retaliate, act like he was acting towards me, I probably had a bullet in me.
The attorneys argue Boan violated Camden police policy in creating the video. Court records include Camden police policies, which state, "No department record shall be removed from any building or office without the written permission of the chief of police, nor shall any department report be copied for any purpose without the permission of the chief of police." Camden Chief of Police Joe Floyd says he first heard about the Greatest Hits video when we first reported on its existence in March. He declined to comment further. On June 26, 2018, the Camden Police Department had Goldsmith review the video of the Lee tackle for other tactics that could have been used. On July 31st, 2018, the Department Use of Force Board, including then Captain Lee Boan, recommended de-escalation training. An October 1st, 2018 review was also scheduled. Goldsmith left the department in September, before that recommended review was complete, and was hired by Boan at the Sheriff's Office in January 2019. Lee says his shoulder was injured in the incident. No lawsuits or criminal cases have been filed in relation to this case. Tonight, Goldsmith faces an assault charge and a misconduct in office charge for the first incident, that October 2020 incident you saw in that story. Now, both he and Boan face 2 more lawsuits on other incidents. SLED says it also has 3 open investigations into Goldsmith. Now, we asked Boan and Goldsmith's attorney for an interview on this story. Neither responded, but Boan did make a Facebook post after the Sims settlement, that October 2020 incident settlement. He wrote in part, "I sincerely apologize to Mr. Sims and the citizens of Kershaw County for the actions of my former deputy. He was hired by me. Like all deputies, he was my responsibility. I was the first person to publicly admit my former deputy's actions with Mr. Sims were unacceptable." He later wrote, "This one incident does not reflect the culture of your KCSO." Now, Boan has also appeared to have addressed deputy behavior internally. A source with direct knowledge of the Sheriff's Office operations sent us these screenshots. Boan appears to write an email to his deputies reminding them to be smart on camera. He also writes, Don't do or say anything you don't want WIS to run a story on. Believe it or not, WIS has a, quote, man crush on me. They love running any trashy story they can on me. All of you are extensions of my arm. Don't make me amputate you. We have asked the sheriff to confirm and comment on that email.
And Chris, you said this was part one, so there's more to come?
Yeah, a lot more to come. So on tomorrow and Thursday, we will be looking at the various documented warning signs that the sheriff had and his command staff really did have beyond that. And on Thursday, there is a recording where we'll be running a story of how a deputy recorded the sheriff speaking about Goldsmith, the constitutional rights, and his views on public criticism. But you can go to wistv.com right now to read all about that greatest hits video. But in the studio, Chris Joseph, WIS News.